As new business owners, there are a million and one questions running through our mind every single day. And those questions can range from, am I doing this right? To how do I actually move from a W-2 employee to a 1099 contractor to a small business owner, to how do I get my taxes done? So in this video, I'd like to explore some ideas and thoughts that I had along my way of becoming an entrepreneur. Hi, my name is Adrina. I am the owner and accountant here at Accounting by Adrina, and I am so glad that you're here. If this is your first time watching this video, make sure that you click the link below because I have a whole series on taxes, and I'm going to just leave the link there for your convenience. If you do have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments as I review those and occasionally answer those in videos, and sometimes I will answer those in my newsletter as well. So make sure you're subscribed to my newsletter, also linked below. So I'm so glad that you're here, but first I want to get through to the disclaimer. This video is meant for entertainment purposes only. This is not tax advice. Consider this general info I learned along my way of becoming an entrepreneur. Consider this my opinion. If you do anything, make sure you consult a tax professional first because they will be able to answer specific questions related to your specific situation, because remember, everyone's situation is just slightly different. So in the previous videos, we were talking to Ms. Needs to get her taxes done. And I want to make sure that I'm still talking to Ms. Needs to get her taxes done. And in this video, I'm going to talk through not just how to get your taxes done as a small business owner, but some other things that you might need to think about when you are a new business owner thinking of becoming a full-time entrepreneur or small business owner. First things first, when Ms. Needs to get her taxes done, is ready to get her taxes all squared away, she will need to file her side hustle on the Schedule C. Now, the Schedule C is a form that we've already talked about and discussed in previous videos. So essentially, it's just going to be your revenue, everything that you made as far as income is concerned, that's going to be your revenue, and then all of your expenses are going to be listed on that same Schedule C, and they'll be listed out either by category, or if you need more room, there's a section where you can add more information to your Schedule C, and it kind of lumps it all together in one line on Schedule C. And then it comes to the net profit. And so that is what you're going to be taxed on as far as your net profit is concerned. Now, there's all different types of taxes, and self-employment taxes is going to be one of those taxes that will be the percentage. So right now it's like 15.3%. And so that 15.3% is going to tax that net profit. And that's what you're going to be charged on your tax return. So everything's going to flow up into your 1040, as we've already discussed. And so those are kind of like the key takeaways that I want to make sure that you're aware of as a new business owner, because you'll also have your W-2, which you're going to list on the first page of your 1040. Now, I want to make sure that you're aware that I do have a printable. It's free. It's available on my website. You can go to accountingbyadrina.com/beorganized in order to get it. And I'll just leave a link below as well, because maybe I got that URL wrong, but I wanted to make sure that you're aware of it, because in this PDF, basically, it's a printable, so you print it out and then you can fill it in as you go through your business. But I have a section for your income, so you're making sure that you're capturing all of your income by month and totaling that at the end of the year, so that way it's easy just to move that number into your Schedule C for your tax return. So the other thing that I wanted to mention is on this printable, there's a section for expenses and there's a section for quarterly estimated tax payments. Your quarterly estimated tax payments will go into that calculation that I talked about earlier for your self-employment tax. And so if you have been paying your quarterly estimated taxes, you might not owe that much when it comes to filing your annual tax return. Okay, so all of that kind of like goes into your 1040, and that's kind of how the calculation comes to be when it talks about what's due as far as your taxes are concerned, or what's a refund. So Ms. Needs to get her taxes done will have a W-2 as well, and that's going to be listed on her 1040. So I've already talked about that, but basically she'll have taxes deducted from her W-2 before it gets reported, and then after for your Schedule C. So that's kind of how all of that works together, and it might sound a little complicated, but it's really not once you have everything in order. And the printable that I have available for you is actually going to really help you keep things in order. So I want you to make sure that you are going through your finances on a monthly basis if not bi-weekly, if not weekly. So I go through my personal finances and my business finances on a weekly basis, and I make sure that I am capturing everything from my income to my expenses to my quarterly estimated tax payments, and kind of how to calculate and figure that out is going to depend on your own personal situation. A general rule of thumb that I've heard from different entrepreneurs is that they reserve 25% to 30% of their gross profit. And so that's a good calculation to kind of keep track of. Even if you are overestimating, then that means you have savings in your bank, and you can use that additional savings for any operating expenses down the line, or even capital expenditures that you have down the line. Now, the last thing that I want to mention is to make sure that you are tracking your mileage. And in my Printable, the Be Organized Printable that you'll have access to with the link below, is the second page is a tracking your mileage sheet. So you just print that out, you put that in your car, and every time you go on a trip for your business, let's say you're a photographer, so you're going to go to multiple places, and you just write the date, the trip purpose, and the trip miles. I'm just looking at my notes over here on my computer. And so you can make sure that you're keeping track of everything. And if you do have a CPA that is filing your tax return, you would hand all of that over to your CPA, and it's just easy for them to file your annual tax return. So now that we have all of that out of the way, I wanted to talk through and discuss a little bit more as far as the mindset is concerned. Because when I was starting my business back, I think it's 2017 when I started really seriously considering starting my business, I listed out my financial goals and some steps that I wanted to take before I even pulled the switch of starting my business. So really gearing up your mindset into becoming a, business owner is a whole different set of things. I'm going to go ahead and link another blog post that I have below as far as like your mindset is concerned, but it's really just getting your mindset in place. And yeah, it took me all of 2017 to comb through kind of like any fine details that I had on my mind. So a couple questions that I asked myself was like, how sustainable is this? How long can I be working at my W-2 job and doing my side hustle at the same time? So sustainability is another big topic that I wanted to bring up, because if your business model isn't sustainable, then it's not going to get you from a W-2 to a side hustle to a small business owner. It's just going to leave you at being the side hustle. So you really need to think through and dig deep as far as how the sustainability factor plays into your business. So some of the steps that I took was I basically just had a Google sheet, and I just jotted down all of my ideas that I could as far as starting my business. I had a tab. Yes, this was in Excel, of course. I had a tab for blog post ideas, because I knew that if I wanted to start a business and I wanted to get some visibility, I would need to have a website presence, and with that came a blog. And so even still, I've got all these ideas. These are all blog ideas for the rest of this year, but it's just one of those things that I thought would be valuable for me in creating a voice and showing my authority to Google, so that way SEO could pick it up. And SEO is a whole separate topic that I am not the expert on, but I'll go ahead and leave some resources for you below. After creating a list of blog post ideas, I also had a to-do list. So I wanted to make sure that I was financially sustainable by myself, so that I could make sure that if I was taking this step to become an entrepreneur, that I would have the financial stability in order to get me there. So I created a list of 3 items back in 2017 of things that I wanted to attain to make sure that I was financially sustainable. And so I was able to attain that by September of 2017. So September, October, November, December 2017 were really the months where I started really fleshing out the ideas to my business. And then on January 1st, 2018, I went live with everything. So on my to-do list, I made sure to add things like write a business plan, take a bookkeeping course, put disclosures on my blog, set up a Twitter page, set up a Facebook page, and then I had, the cost associated with each of the items. And I wanted to make sure that I had enough money to fund those ideas first. before I even pulled the switch to go live on January 1st, 2018. Not only did I do all of those things, but I definitely crowdsourced a lot of it. So I made sure everyone in my life knew that I was starting my business before I even went live on January 1st. I reached out to people that I was working with at my W-2 job, at previous W-2 jobs, and I talked to my family, I talked to friends. I made sure everyone was aware. And let me tell you, that really did pay off, because just by putting all of those feelers out, I was able to hire someone to help me with creating a website and a logo right away. I was able to have my first client right away because someone knew someone who was able to point me in the direction of another business owner who was needing a bookkeeper. So all of those things kind of like played into going live and becoming a sustainable business. And I would highly encourage you to make sure, if this is something that you really want to do and you think that this is going to be sustainable for you, that you have the right mindset of doing it, then I would just encourage you to continue to go down that path and make sure you write everything down and track everything. Make sure you are preparing for it financially, that you write down every cost associated with all of your ideas, because you want to make sure that you're able to fund those ideas. And I would use the W-2 money that I had in order to fund most of my business when I was starting out. So that's kind of how all of that worked together. I hope this was a really helpful video for you. And if it was, go ahead and give this video a like and make sure to share it with your friends and family who are becoming entrepreneurs. And if you do have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. This pretty much concludes our taxes series. I may have one more video coming out on it, but we'll see about that. And again, if you want to download that spreadsheet, the printable that I was talking about earlier, it's called Be Organized. You can go ahead and click the link below, accountingbyadrina.com/beorganized, and you'll get it delivered right to your inbox. All right, friends, thanks for trailing with me on these videos. I was really happy to do it. I was really excited to do it, and I hope it's really helpful for you. I'll see you guys in the next video.